What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of CMA Podcast. How is everybody doing? Back again. I need a guest, man. I tried to get 2 guests this week. Scheduling did not allow for it with times, so just me again on my own. It's been a slow start to the new year. Obviously not a lot of podcasts going out there. Busy with life. You know, this is done in my spare time at the moment, so a little bit too busy to put out multiple shows last week. Hopefully more shows will get put out this week. I'm working on it. This is my passion. This is what I love to do, so stay with me. I'm doing my best. Today I want to talk about something that's probably going to get me in a lot of people's bad books, but I think I'm going to title this episode, I'm a fan of Jake Paul and Logan Paul. Yes, I didn't think I'd say it myself, but I really am. I truly am. And this is not clickbait. This is not something that I'm just saying so that people can view and make fun of in the comments. Although if you watch and make fun of the comments, it's appreciated. But yes, I am. Excuse me. I'm a fan of Jake Paul and I'm a fan of Logan Paul, and I can justify this statement. I've known who the guys were, or I know who the guys are, and I have known for many years, but I didn't pay enough attention. I didn't pay any attention to them. If you strip away the horse shit content that they put out, and you really see them in their truest form, the lowest common denominator, you know, you really see that these guys are good guys with good motives. You know, we don't know everything about them, so I don't know if I'm talking shit or not, but I am a fan of these 2 guys, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, if you don't know who they are, it's kind of strange. It's a weird one to try and explain, but I'll do my best. Basically, these 2 guys, Jake Paul used to be on the Disney Channel, like a Disney show for kids, when he was younger. And Logan Paul started, he was like a Vine guy. I don't know if he worked for Disney or any. They've got a pretty high up dad in Hollywood. Got them some good gigs and stuff, but Logan Paul started, I think he started on Vine and then migrated across to like YouTube and started putting out these very short edited videos, comedy videos, nerdy, super geeky stuff, very obvious crap. And you really think, oh my God, this is so stupid. But the world is full of stupid, mind-numbing people. So there's a market for all that stuff. There is a market for these stupid videos where people can sit on their couch and just thumb through them for like 3-4 hours at a time. You know, there's just a market for it. It's as simple as that. There's a reason why Jordan Peterson has a small following relative to these big celebrities. You know, there's a reason why these brilliant minds with brilliant ideas are low down on the numbers scale. And there's a reason why the most famous woman on the planet's Kim Kardashian, for example, because there's a market for this stupidity of people in general, I guess. I don't know. I'm not trying to sound condescending or dig anybody, but this is the reality of the fact that the most famous woman on the planet's Kim Kardashian. And anyone who tries to argue that is just wrong. And I'd never heard Kim Kardashian speak until she was in the White House, ironically. You know, if you ever listen to Kanye West, if you ever listen to these hugely famous people nowadays, you kind of realize why they're so big and why they've got such a big following. It's because there's a market for it. There's no question about it. So when you take these people who put out ridiculous things that generate so many fucking numbers, like views off the charts. And it's not all that way, obviously. Obviously, Joe Rogan has huge, like 35 million downloads a month or something crazy like that. Or, I don't know. But when you take all of that and you start to use your platform for different purposes, you start to stir the pot a little bit, right? So this YouTuber comes on the scene with a huge following, fights on the same card as Mike Tyson a year or so back. Maybe it was 2 years now. Jake Paul comes in and knocks out this basketball player. And everyone's like, what? The YouTuber? Nah, it's fake. Can't be real. And then he comes in and fights Ben Askren, knocks him out. I'm sure there was another fight there too. Fights Tyron Woodley the first time. Goes the distance with Tyron. Fights Tyron again last month or the month before. Knocks him completely unconscious. You got Logan Paul, who fought Floyd Mayweather. What? Logan lost the first and only fight that he did and goes in and fights one of the greatest of all time. In Floyd Mayweather, goes 10 or 12 rounds with him. I'm like, all right, what's going on here? But it's because of their huge following. Obviously, this isn't rocket science or my take on it. It's standard numbers. You've got all these eyeballs that will tune in and watch you, and you know you're going to generate a lot of money with that. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs. Eyeballs equals money. Now, you've got Jake Paul. Let's focus on Jake Paul. He's got these stupid Instagram videos and Twitter posts where he's calling out Conor McGregor, and he's doing it with his little underbite and wearing all the bling bling. And it's kind of like, dude, this is so cringe. You gotta stop, because we're like the MMA world, the boxing world, we kind of just want to deal with fights and fighters. Turns out he can fight, but you know, like when you strip away all of that bullshit, I watched 2 specific episodes of their podcast recently, and it's I have it here. I'll put it in the description. Basically, it was an episode, and then underneath it linked to also watched Jake Paul, I don't know what to do with my life, brackets emotional. And he basically breaks down the stresses that he's going through at that time. It was about a year ago. He lawsuit for something he didn't do, paying all the money out to the prosecutor or whatever it is. Issues with his mom, the stresses of family life, the hate that they're experiencing on social media. Like, in other words, at the beginning of this podcast, I started off with like a lot of negativity about the Logan, or the Paul brothers. They get a lot of hate. I did a deep dive on both their social medias, and the comment section is just this cesspit sewer of crap from haters. But you gotta follow them and actively go on their posts. Like, if I don't like a celebrity, I won't go near their social media. But some people just feel the need to go to their social media or follow them and just spout negativity and hatred and kill yourself and all this kind of stuff. It's like, dude, no one ever likes that guy. At least make it funny. Have a little bit of sarcasm and humor. But they get hit with a lot of hate. And on that podcast with Jake, he talks about all the people that want to see him fail. And when I heard that, I was like, fuck. I know quite a few people that want to see me fail too. And that's when I like clicked with that guy. I'm like, fuck, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had so much bad advice in the last 2 years from people close, not family, outside of family, but friends who I thought were friends, like mentors, if you will. So much bad advice, so much stepping on my neck. Like, fuck, dude. And these are people I thought were close. He's getting it from that and from fucking complete strangers who he doesn't even know exists. So I'm like, Jesus, that hits me. So again, and he's crying on that podcast too. He's crying into the mic. Give it a watch. I think it's like 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. But and then on top of that, after the Tyron Woodley fight, the second time where he knocked him out, they go on Impulsive, like Logan's podcast. And basically he talks, what is it again? I had it here. Jake Paul shares emotional moment with Logan. I worked so hard to make it. I don't know what the title is after that, but I'll put a link in the description here. Talking about all the haters who just wanted to see him fail and fuck up and get knocked out and, you know, all the negativity. And he's just like, you know what, dude? Fuck you. I had an episode of the podcast between Christmas and New Year's ready to go, and it was like, happy 2022. Fuck everybody. I still might make it, so I don't know, but I had to cancel it because of sickness. This chair is dropping. But it's just like, fuck everybody. Not everybody, but everybody who doubts and throws negativity and bad advice in your way. It's like, hey, you got to do this by yourself. You're either with us or against us. That kind of mentality. And I'm like, I was approaching the whole gym and podcast thing with that air of sunshine and rainbows and butterflies and happiness and all that kind of stuff. And as the months have progressed, I'm getting more and more realistic towards the attitude that I think I need to have, which is fuck everybody. And I don't mean that as in collective everybody. I mean fuck everybody that's in your way or putting you down or standing on your neck or giving you bad advice or telling you that you shouldn't do something because it's too risky. I get it. Business, calculated risks. But when someone says don't do something unless it's staring you in the face as blatantly obvious, I don't know, man. So what I'm trying to say here in this ramble, I'll keep this one a short one this week, but what I'm trying to say here is that when you strip away the bullshit that the Logan brothers put out there that got them the huge following, and you really see the two guys, the two brothers, share this moment on their podcast that, you know, Logan says he's super proud of Jake. You know, when is the last time someone said that they're super proud of you? Just doesn't happen much anymore, like outside of family, but I mean friends. Hey, good job. You took the leap, you took the step, you took the risk. Good job, I'm proud of you. You don't hear that anymore. Like, again, I hear it from family. That's fine. But like friends, colleagues, people you grew up with. You get to a certain point, you start to excel, and you don't get the same fucking drive and push and props that I think you should get. But when I see this from these two guys who are coming from a different world, like not podcasting, not fighting, YouTube's editing, Instagram, general social media, where it's super nerdy, super geeky, super edited. You strip all that shit away. You've just got two brothers who are working hard on their craft and branching out and taking risks and not afraid to get knocked out in the ring, not afraid to take that risk of being completely humiliated in front of an arena full of people not afraid to take risks and risk losing your entire social media following that's probably generating unbelievable revenue on a monthly basis. Not afraid to take those risks. Like, I think they're set for life financially, but I'm starting to want to take more risks myself now because of the inspiration that they're pushing in my direction. I'm like, hey, it's okay to fuck up. It's okay to look like a dick. It's okay to say, I messed up that decision. I need to work harder, or whatever the case may be. I'm rambling now, but yeah, if they're going to put it all on the line and risk losing 30 million followers down to zero because they say something stupid on a podcast or put out a stupid video or get knocked out in a ring. I mean, who am I? I'm going to fuck up and 10 people are going to see it. Doesn't matter, right? You can pick yourself up. But then you move across to MMA and boxing. They're taking all of their followers with them, and it's turning into a huge fighter pay discussion, which we'll get into a little bit more next week. I have a guest on. We're going to talk about fighter pay, and we're going to debate it out. But a lot of fighters are now seeing, hey, these YouTubers are coming across and making millions per fight. There's a lot of variables. You know, they're bringing their following with them. They're not pro, like essentially pro that we know them to be. But it's opening up a huge discussion in the MMA world where these guys have dedicated their whole lives and risked it all to get into the greatest MMA organization to ever live, and are being compensated in peanuts. You know, all their quoted prices are before tax and expenses. So even the big buck guys, the guys making $500,000 a fight, they're not coming out with more than $100,000 into their bank account. So they're getting all of these wonderful big checks, but then they got to pay out taxes and managements and trainers and the fight camp and all that kind of stuff. But again, that's a fighter pay conversation that we're going to have later on this week. But if the Logan, or if the Paul brothers can bring their following across and make millions, it's starting to have impact on the UFC and the fighters there who just want to get out of their contracts now and go fight one of the Paul brothers in a boxing fight and right off into the sunset. I think Tyron Woodley got $6 million to get knocked out by Jake Paul. $6 million. His biggest payday ever. I'd take $6 million and get knocked out by the Paul brothers. Would you? I don't know. Dana White has paid attention now to Jake Paul. Before, he wasn't even addressing it. Before, he was just brushing it off when he was asked questions about it. Now he's responding with these stupid social media test for steroids, test for cocaine, back and forth. The last time Dana White took notice of another organization or anything like that, they acquired and disintegrated Pride in Japan. They took out Strikeforce. Anything that they were in competition with, they took over and disintegrated. WEC, I guess you could say that too. But Dana White recognizes it now and is starting to pay attention to the Paul brothers. Jake more specifically. So the future is bright when it comes to this circus. I think we'll call it a circus because it's so strange. A guy who used to work for the Disney Channel, who is a YouTube nerd, puts out all of these stupid Conor McGregor call-outs where he's wearing all the bling bling. Well, now he's starting to become a good fighter, and the money is attracting other fighters in his direction. So it is a very, very strange time. The entertainment era has just taken steroids and we are off to the races. I don't know, man. It's a strange one, but it's certainly got my attention. And I am now a subscriber to Impulsive, the podcast that they put out. And I listen to their content and they talk and they're really real and they talk about everyday life, stuff that they're going through, the nerdy, geeky things, the real life things, the fight related things, how proud of themselves they are, vice versa, whatever it is. But yeah, I would encourage you guys, subscribe to CMA podcast and also check out Impulsive on YouTube. I'm a fan of Logan Paul and Jake Paul. And I like what they're doing. They're stirring the pot. And hopefully the beneficiary of all this will be the fighters. And contract negotiations, leverage, things like that will go in the favor of the fighters. Because again, fighter pay is a huge topic for discussion right now. And we will go into more detail with that during the week. Guys, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this episode. I know it probably was not easy for you to hear me talk about a YouTuber and a guy from the fucking Disney Channel making rounds in the boxing world. Crazy times. But listen, your feedback is welcome. Hit me with a like, hit the subscribe button, hit me with a comment with your feedback. Am I completely out of my mind to be a fan of these guys? I don't think I am, but if you have an opposite opinion, please let me know. If you want to debate the Paul brothers, please come on the podcast and tell me I'm full of shit. Spotify and iTunes, Apple Podcasts, rate, review, give it a listen. If you like it and you think a friend will like it, send it to them. That's all from me today, guys. Thank you very much for listening, and we will talk to you on the next episode. Kicking in that music. Take care.